A wretched boy, a sinner, a little orphan. I have journeyed in circles, like a little piece of nothing in a big ocean, until I discovered the power of love. The Lord of creation adopted me. He gave me a new home for reason to believe. Now on the edge of glory, I'm proud to say, I've been called many titles, a wretched boy, a sinner, a little orphan. I have journeyed in circles, like a little piece of nothing in a big ocean, until I discovered the power of love. The Lord of creation adopted me. He gave me a new home for reason to believe. Now on the edge of glory, I'm proud to say,
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me? Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of our Conversations with Pagide Expressions. It's another Friday evening, and I loved this song so much. I love the um, temperature, that call it temperature, or atmosphere of the song. I Have a Father. It's a song by J. Mike of Mountain Movies, and it sets us into the mood and the right tone of what we are going to be doing this evening. I appreciate every one of us for having the time to click this link that I sent to you so as to join this program. Please let me know where you're joining in from and where you're watching from. You can do that by typing in the comment section. You can do that by saying hello, hi, or I love Pagidi, or I'm excited to be here. Yeah, you can just type anything or say anything so that I will know that I'm not alone in this program. For example, you can just say, my name is Pagidi, I'm from Lagos. You can say my name is Tunde, I'm from Abuja. So please join in and say something in the comment section and let me know so that I will know that I am not alone in this program. Let's hear that song once again.
I've been called many titles, a wretched boy, a sinner, a little orphan. I have journeyed in circles, like a little piece of nothing in a big ocean, until I discovered the power of love. The Lord of adopted me. He gave me a new home for reason to believe. Now I'm the edge of glory. I'm proud to say,
Okay, so welcome back again. As you know, as we always do it, please turn on the caption from the end of your screen so as to get the subtitle or transcription of everything that will be said this evening. This is the third of our 1 month session of June Conversations with Pagide Expressions, and the first was held first Friday in the month of June, where we talked about sex, orgasm, and adolescence. If you remember that topic, I enjoyed it so much with Jeff and Comfortable Bay. Now, on the second one, we talked about the complexities of marriage, and we highlighted marriage of reasons why this generation don't want to get married. We talked about that with Luapelumi Awotedo and Adenike. And tonight we'll be delving deeper in these conversations in what I consider to be one of the most important conversations I'll ever have. So don't make a mistake of exiting this app, and like they always say, don't touch that dial. That's because of the nature of this conversation. I'm certain that there's going to be tons of questions, opinions, sharing of experiences. You can participate by asking your questions. You can participate by sharing your opinions or experiences, and you can also participate by interacting with me in the comment section. Let me know what you are equally picking up and learning in the course of this session. I'll be delighted to hear from you. Now, also, please read the banner that will be rolling on the screen from time to time in the course of the session because of the information that will be passed across where you are going to see things going on. My name is Pagide. Facebook always make a mistake. They'll say Pagide. I always notice it. My name is Pagidi, Pagidi, and I'll be your host this evening. I have always introduced myself, but as always, if you are watching me for the first time, allow me to introduce myself again to you. Pagidi is all about giving humans the privilege and opportunity to speak their minds, express themselves, be listened to, and be understood, not just through written and spoken media, but also in person. This it does with a straight from the heart, non-conformist, direct, and straight-cut blunt approach to controversial issues, using its unique writing style and relatable stories that comes with it as an avenue for people to shed off mental weight, emotional aches, and disturbing problems in ways that becomes a life-changing experience for them. A self-professed non-practicing Christian, his writings are basically published on his social media accounts, and he has gradually become vocal on topics and issues not willingly discussed in the society. The happy author of Dearest Suicide. Dearest Suicide is a coming of age, controversial, and evergreen 5-book series that covers different areas of the average human life, from relationship to sex, academics, religion, emotions, and including breakfast, which I call breakups. Yes, you can see this. The fifth edition of Dearest Suicide is titled "Karma is a Bitch," and I did a share for most of our programs. Please, let's just go on a short break. We'll be right back very, very, very soon.
I've been called many titles. A wretched boy, a sinner, a little orphan. I have journeyed in circles, like a little piece of nothing in a big ocean, until I discovered the power of love. The Lord of creation adopted me. He gave me a new home for reason to believe. we are proud to say, oh, proud to say,
Okay, okay, okay. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So now allow me to share my screen with you as I share something. You know, I always write expressions, and if you've been following me, whether you're just following me or you've been following me for a very, very long time, you know that I do write expressions. That's the meaning of Pagide expressions. And allow me to share my screen with you as I show you one of the expressions that I've written that is very, very critical in what we'll be discussing this evening. Is just give me a few. Yes. Okay. Yes. I wrote this. I post no, not I wrote. I posted this July 4, 2022, as you can see, and it is titled "A Dad, Not a Father." I'll read. Why I want to share so that as I'm reading, you'll also be seeing what I wrote. It's that time of the day again when tempers rise, tensions flare, happiness is gone, and hell is let loose. It has become a constant battle for the victim, a court where you are the chief speaker with no room for opposing views. You are the author and finisher of the script, and whoever talks back is a silly child that has bad attitude and lacks training. Your presence instills fear in the people, and your absence heralds a joyful sound. Nothing seems pleasant with you. Everything is to blame but you. And peace confidently takes the high table when you are out. You disregard opinions, strike out suggestions, neglect counsels, and forsake all that doesn't meet your interest. Constitution gives right to fair hearing, and the Holy Book says don't provoke your children, but even that can't call you to order when ruling your subjects. Because you are the God, the King Kong, the Alpha and Omega of proceedings, and the beginning and end to all rules and judgments. Hearts weep each time you speak. Every time, okay, hearts weep each time you speak. Every word feeling like a 9-inch nail wedging down weak minds to condemn the destitute. Your claim is work done in love, but would have been better if you never had to work. So we know we can happily sing and smile while telling our jokes as we walk our walk without having to dread facing your wrath because of a little repercussion. You never get to see what trauma you make your children go through, yet pose as the omniscient of their lives, claiming to meet their every need. I know I don't hate you with passion, though I once did. And I know I don't like anything you do, because I know I'll never be like you. It's a truth that is subjected to your actions, which can always be edited the moment you choose to have a great improvement in the way you talk. But until then, I'll look away as you hush and insult, knowing the time will surely come when you won't have your way with words again. When man and luggage leave your door to get the joy and friendship your father would never offered. I wrote this 4th July 2016, exactly 6 years ago. And today I salute those kids who had to endure bad words from their fathers. Hmm. Yoruba will say something. Yoruba will say Ọ̀rọ̀ pèsè jẹ. Somehow I don't know the meaning of that, but I know that Ọ̀rọ̀ pèsè jẹ. Wow. So yes, that I had to share that with us because I've written so many expressions about my father. I've written so many expressions about my mom, so many expressions about my family. And one thing with expressions is that it helps me. Yes, it helps me shed off mental weight. At the same time, it helps me speak about the things that I wouldn't have the boldness to expressions, we'll be having my very, very beautiful mother in conversation with us. And why I say my very beautiful mother is because I've always desired, I know I've always been telling my stories in my expressions, I've always been telling my stories in my books, and I've always been looking forward to the time that she will also be able to tell her side of the story because she has lots and lots of story to tell. It's going to be an interesting conversational experience that's going to reveal blunt and sorry areas about parent-child relationship. If you've ever had difficulty loving your father or mother or relating with them, this is the place to be right now. In fact, before we continue, I want you to go right to and copy the link of this video and post it on your WhatsApp story so that people can see the link and join you as we are all watching together. And before we proceed, one last time, I've been showing us series of videos. I want to show us one final video.
Me again. Why a smart teenager or intelligent youth would want to commit suicide when there's so much to live for? Have you ever wondered why a smart teenager or intelligent youth would want to commit suicide when there's so much to live for? And have you ever thought of killing yourself at some point in your life? Well, I have, countless times. And each time, I always want to take my life as much as I'm scared of what will happen if this death doesn't kill me. I've lived a disoriented life amongst other things, and I can't say I've been able to be a happy child since the time I was born. If it was the way my dad shouted at me and insulted me at home, or the way I was failing mathematics in secondary school, it should have been better. But how do I cope with having 7 carryover courses in the final year of my university? As if that's not enough, my girlfriend I've been dying for is now leaving and saying she can't feel anything for me again. What kind of life is this? So many heartbreaks, so many heartaches, so many problems, no immediate solution. Sometimes, I wonder why things have to go bad before they can ever turn good. And some other times, death becomes the only option when you know you are done and just want to find your peace. Dear Suicide, I've made up my mind to come meet you today. But before I go, I want to show this society intriguing details about what makes a person commit suicide. Perhaps they can have an understanding as to why people like us prefer to choose suicide as a healing we need, rather than looking for a cure to ease our pain. Because it's either our problems become a cause to live with.
Okay. So what you've just watched is the cinematic trailer of book 2 of Dearest Suicide, titled Sometimes Death Becomes the Only Option. And like I said, I wrote 5 books on Dearest Suicide, and most of it centered on relationship, and I've been discussing about relationship on several books, but many parts of the book also centers on the relationship with my father or the relationship with my parents. It begins in the prologue. If you look at the prologue, you see the story there. And at the end of the book, too, in Kama is a beach. In Kama is a beach. You're also going to see the relationship I had with my father there. The challenges, the things that were vexing me, the things that were hurting my feelings, the things, part of the reasons why I desired to commit suicide. So tonight we have with us, I first said my mom. So now we have with us a young, sweet, and beautiful mom who will be taking us on this walk into family memories. Rachel Olajumoke Disu is a linguist and an educationist, an ordained pastor by his grace, a marriage counselor, a final year student at Life Seminary, married since 1991, mother of 4 gifted presidents, and an enthusiast of family life. She's a compendium of God's immeasurable grace and mercy who loves to travel and open to learning more. Ladies and gentlemen, please use your comments to help me make welcome my beautiful and amazing mother, Rachel Olajumoke Disu. Please put
Thank you
on
so
your
much.
mics. Please put on your
Thank
mic so
you
that I
so
can hear
much.
you. How are you
Oh,
doing?
I'm good. And I feel so excited. And I'm also
Yes, I'm
proud.
also happy.
I'm proud to be your
I'm listening to
mom.
you. I'm listening to you. Express yourself.
Yeah,
Thank you
I'm
very
so
much.
proud to be your mom. And I'm happy for the journey we have had together so far. And I'm hopeful for more pleasant stories and experiences that God will avail us opportunity of sharing together. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very much for no, is this thank you for me or thank you for accepting to come online to do this with me.
I
First
feel
of all,
so
first of all,
honored.
let me ask.
Okay,
Yes, let me ask. How was your
okay.
day? I mean, just to get into tune of what we're talking about. First of all, how was your day?
Ah, a bit tasking, but I was able to subdue them. They were not really overwhelming, but it has
Okay.
been
Now,
a loaded day.
okay, I'm listening.
I said it has been a loaded
I'm listening.
day. Yeah,
Okay, okay, that's nice. I believe you have been following through on what I've been saying or what I've been showing on the screen for now. And you
very well.
saw, I wrote that expression in 2022. No, I posted that expression in 2022. That I'm giving clarifications to that because they are far different years. This is already 2023, so I posted it last year, but I initially wrote it in 2016. Now, what happened in 2016 was that, if I remember vividly, we were in US at the time, and I was alone with daddy in the house. I can't remember where all my other siblings were, but what was most important was that I those were one of the years in which I hated my father. I mean, there are different eras that I hated him, different eras that I've had issues talking about it with you, different eras where you have had like, we've had one on one, no, not one on one, a go at each other on maybe if I'm saying maybe saying something like I hate my father, you say something like no, don't say something like that and those kind of thing. So yes, that period I hated him, and I expressed that in those expressions titled a dad, not a father. Now I have not even really gone to the dictionary to look at what a dad means and what a father means, because I very well know that there's a difference between a dad and a father. And you
Yeah.
being a linguist and an educationist, I want us to start from there. What is the difference between a father and a dad?
A father is, we can say, the one that has um, biological affiliations like the sperm donor to bring forth a child to the world, or it could also be a foster father who has chosen to be a guardian or to act the role of a father. But a dad, I think, or I believe, shows more of a relationship, mutual, cordial relationship that is pleasurable, so to speak.
Okay, okay. So now, in 2015, yeah, in 2015, because I want to give you the opportunity to share this story. You've always shared the story amongst your circle of people in the past. In 2015, I had 7 carryovers in the university, and I've written about it in the book. I don't want to really put much talking about it now, but share with me or share with the audience your side of the story. So at least for the first time publicly, they can hear how you felt about it or how the journey was.
I'll say that, but let me quickly end the the explanation on the difference between a father and a dad. Anybody
Oh,
can
okay.
be a
Okay.
father.
Okay.
Anybody can be a father, but it's not everyone that chooses to be a dad.
Hmm.
A dad is more daring than a father. For you to be a dad, you are intentional and you are committed. But anybody
Hmm.
can be a father.
Wow. So that means a dad is more like is what important or is of a higher pedestal than a father.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true. A father is the one that will use sperm to impregnate and okay, yes, okay,
He may be
okay, makes more
responsible, he
sense
may
now.
not be responsible. But a dad is
Okay.
intentional about
Because he's the
bringing.
one that fathered that child.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
Now, the experience of 2015
Okay.
is, you know, like is is just as if I'm putting on a cloth. It's just like my fingernail. It's just like my
Okay.
fingernail. It's part of me because um 2015 when your dad took you and your younger brother to the US, and when you returned, that was supposed to be your graduating year from the university. And you were so, everyone was hopeful that you'll be going to the law school to finish up the law program that you chose. We were not the one that chose the profession for you. You
Okay.
wanted it, so we gave you the support. But I remember that ar- around May 2015, you were already back from the US and you went to school, but you didn't want to come back home. Each time I ask you about your results, how are things, you just tell me that you just give me an excuse. But on this fateful day, towards the end of May 2015, I woke up with, it was a dream that woke me up. And in that dream, I was the one looking for your scores. I was looking for your name on the school notice board. So I
Okay.
was running here and there. I will search from A. When I get to D, I will not see your name. I will start from the bottom. When I move up, I will not see your name. I really stressed. I was really stressed in the dream. And when I woke up, it just dropped on my mind that you did not scale through. So I called you that morning. How far? You were still giving me the same excuses. So I told you, I said, well, I think you should come down to Lagos because your dad had a surgery and is just recuperating in the hospital. As the first child, it's better you come and see him. So you agreed to come, and I was monitoring. I came home to get some things for your dad. So I had to rush back to the hospital and tell your father that you did not make law school. You did not make the list to law school. So he asked how I knew. Then I told him the dream. I was shocked. Your father put his hand on his head like this, and tears were rolling down his eyes. And as at that time, you had reached Imota, very close to
Okay.
Ikorodu. So I had to encourage him. I, I I asked him not to cry, that if you come home, if you come and meet him on the hospital bed and you see him crying, I don't know what will happen. That because you don't even want to come home. You didn't tell me you don't want to come home, but as a mother, I knew that you didn't want to come home. And that dream was a confirmation to me. So when you
Okay.
came to meet him at the hospital, you now, after greeting, after exchanging pleasantries, then you look straight into your father's eyes. The next thing you said was, I'm sorry, and you fell on him. I was even scared because the uh, surgical operation has not healed. So I was scared. I said, please, oh, you were shaking the bed as you were crying that you are sorry. Then your daddy was saying that, what happened? He said, I failed. And I was shocked again. You know, your father that had cried and comforted himself was able to tell you that, so if you fail, is that the end of the road? I remember that it was President Jonathan that was still on. We were close to May 29. Maybe there was a
Yes,
kind of
the incident
strike
was in
action.
May.
Yes, a kind of strike action or something. But even in your school too, students were not in session. I don't know. So your dad
Mm,
said, so if you fail, is that the end of the road? Come on, when you fall, you get up, you rise up again, and you face your challenge. Then we have to talk about the the funding. So I think
okay.
you maybe your dad made contact with the school or something, and we were told that ordinarily the portal would have been closed
That's right.
ordinarily, but because of the maybe strike action or something that was on, so the portal was not closed. So we had to look for money. I think it was 150 or something.
Yeah.
Started, yeah. So we had to look for money, move it into your account, and I asked your friend. He's
That's
now
later.
married. Yes, I asked
Yes.
him to go with you so that you can register afresh for the courses that you failed. So I think because of the encouragement that we gave to you, especially your dad, it gave you the impetus, the boldness to go back to school and finish it up.
Okay. Now, one thing is that parenting is a very, very complex and challenging journey. Yes, and
Yes.
as much as children always have complaints, lots and lots of complaints about their parents, parents also have things they are going through. When I mean things they are going through, I'm not even talking of personal issues right now. I'm talking of their own side of the experiences in coping or managing shocking and challenging situations with the children. Like now, I just finished showing us my emotions and my thoughts of how I ate my father and everything. And now, here is the same person who had failed his, let me just use the word, his education. Now, how does a parent cope with that kind of situation? How can a parent manage a situation where the child has fucked up?
Hmm. It is.
Because um, there are struggles. There's really lots of struggles that some parents face in raising their children, especially children who don't believe in them. Because that's really what we are talking about. It's not just about that this person failed or didn't know. You don't like your parents. The parents has responsibility over you. The parent wants to work with love, but things are just not working out, whether by nature or this thing. So, how does a parent manage that kind of situation with the child?
You see, incidentally, my generation and your generation and the generation of our parents or grandparents are not the same. The generation of our parents,
Okay.
grandparents, we can say they are old generation. Your generation is the Gen Z. I don't know, you guys call it Gen Z. And our generation interfaces with the two.
Okay.
Am I communicating? So there is
Yes.
a
Yes.
challenge, and it's not all parents that has the ability to switch, but every parent should have ability to switch.
Okay.
This is what I mean. This your own generation, your taste, your ideologies, everything are different.
Okay.
My generation is the generation whereby when your parents tell you something, you dare not ask why. Whatever they say cannot change. You understand? So
Yes.
any child that dares to either challenge the parent is tagged as a bad child, ọmọ burúkú.
Yes.
You understand? So
Yes.
for me, between myself and your father, we were not operating exactly on the same level when it comes to that.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
me, maybe because I'm an art student, I don't know. Maybe because of the experiences I've had directly and, indirectly. But me as a person, I am intentional. I love family. I love to look into things. If something goes wrong, I want to know why is this thing getting wrong. Have have I when I go online, I see so many things. Some things will excite me, some things will scare me. You
Okay.
understand? I've seen situations where people lose hope. I've read about a lot of suicide cases. One that is so fresh that I read, or no, I listened to. It was a video. I think the woman is a Cameroonian. She was she
Okay.
used to she used to scold her son in the African way. You know what I mean when I say in the
Okay.
old African way. You child,
Yes.
I
Yes.
can't remember the child's name. Why do you always give me headache? Why do you always give me problem? You are so problematic. You are this, you are that. And the child was broken, was withdrawn, but the mother did not even observe. So on the eve of the mother's birthday, he wrote a note that he has decided to remove the pain, to give it okay, he has decided to give the mom the best birthday ever by removing the pain, the headache that she always encounter. So that eve of the mom's birthday, he committed suicide. It was the note he wrote that allowed the mother to know. The mom went out, probably to shop or I don't know. But she said when she came back, uh, that she couldn't finish what she was doing. I
Hello, can
think
you still
she
hear
had
me? Are you there?
who me? Are we together? Pagidi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Are you there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you
Okay. Okay,
listening?
that's nice. I can see you. Yes. I can hear you.
So the mom said
Where,
she
where, where I
she
stopped listening was where I heard last was that he said he wants to take away the pain. That's where I heard last. And I believe
yes,
that's where the audience heard last too.
the, in the note, in the suicide note, the guy wrote that he has decided to give the mom the best birthday ever by removing the pain, the headache, the challenge that has always befallen her. So the mom, when she came home, she tried to get in, she couldn't. But people, maybe she was assisted, and when they tried to rescue the guy, took him to hospital, it was BID, brought in dead. As she was narrating, she was crying, and I thought of it. There was also another pastor's child. I don't want to mention the church, the denomination,
Okay.
but in our town here, because the younger sister gained admission to university, she also wanted admission into university, but maybe she felt that the parents didn't push enough, so it was
Okay.
polytechnic that
Okay.
she gained, that they asked her to go and study. Probably they didn't explain. I don't know. I'm not a member of the family, but she was disappointed that why would her younger sister go to university and she will go to polytechnic. She ended her life. I have so many cases like that. So I started to develop interest in my children because I remember there was a time you were in secondary school, even in primary school, you struggled. People did not really know how intelligent you were. But me, I know that you are intelligent because for you to use, then you were, your math book when you were in primary school was understanding mathematics, and you tore every sheet to make paper boats or paper canoe for your friends.
I remember. I remember that.
And you know, there are a lot of things you do that made me to know that you are intelligent. But as far as our parents are concerned, if you are not scoring the highest grade, you are not a serious child. Because me, I was a victim of such. My elder sister was tagged to be intelligent. My younger brother, very intelligent. But because I'm playful, nobody feels that anything good can come from me, except I think my parents' second born. Maybe because she's a medical doctor. She was studying medicine. So she believed that no. And in my training too, I know that I was privileged to teach primary school, secondary school, tertiary at different times. So
Okay.
I can say that children respond to learning differently.
Okay.
So if a child is playful now, that doesn't mean the child should be written off. There is no child that should be written off. And if you have a plan for a child, let that child know the plan. There's no child that is too young. Sometimes we want to keep things, maybe we don't want it to get into the child's head. Then let the child know that, look, this that I'm doing for you is for this, is for this. Even when a child fails, because as a teacher, we don't write this is a poor result. We were trained to use encouraging remarks for children. When the teacher is putting the comments in the comment section of the report card, there is an ample room for improvement. I see a star in you. You can do better. You are a champion. You know, there was a time in the school before I retired, the management agreed to be giving prizes to most improved child. You understand? That doesn't mean that's the
Yes.
best child. They will give prize to first, second, third, overall best in each of the subjects. But you will also give prize to most improved child. It is encouraging. So parents should not just feel that, oh, Rire, look at yourself, look at your brother, look at what your mates are doing. You don't compare. Each child is unique. Everybody is unique in the way God has made them. It's just
Now,
that as
sorry,
parents,
I'm going to cut you there because it will make us go into the next thing we want to treat or talk about. Now, you said that as parents, they should not, um, paraphrasing it now, they should not bring comparisons with children, between children, and most important, what I think is that there is no child that should be written off. Now, how do we talk about the emotional impact parents have on their children? There are there are lots of things. Thankfully, mental health is a discussion that is coming to life gradually and let me use the word speedily in this generation. And in the past, I mean, I'm so sure if a child says I'm depressed, you'll be like, "Kidding, too much depressed." You know this kind of thing. You can even
Kini
use
Shore,
back. You can even use
so
back to slap me.
what do you know that is called depression?
Thank you. You know,
I
the
must
African
not
mother
hear
uses
that
a
from
common.
you again.
Hmm.
If I
So,
ever hear that from you,
so, and parents naturally want their children to believe in them and have confidence in their abilities. I believe that's the dichotomy between the parent's world and the child's world. The parents want their children to believe in them. The way they are going about it, the child doesn't like it at all. It does not make sense, point blank. And now, when children express doubt or disbelief, it can be emotionally painful for the parents and can lead to feelings of rejection, inadequacy, or sense of failure as a parent. So now, your first child, that is me, had an extra year in the university. Your second child had an extra year. Yes. Your second child had an
yes.
extra year in the university. Your third child was already having carryover courses. Please speak to us how you are able to manage that situation. You know, you
Okay,
have
thank
four
you so
boys.
much.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
so before you talk, let me let our audience know. My mom has four boys. I'm the first, and there are three others. So the first child had an extra year in the university, seven carryover courses. And she has already narrated the story of how that came about. The second child had an extra, I can't remember, maybe two. I don't, was it two or three courses or just one?
Two,
Okay, two.
two.
Yes. Now, the third child was having carryover courses and on the edge of having an extra year. So, please, how were you able to manage that situation? Speaking, you know, we're talking
Okay.
about the emotional impact now of parent-child
Yes.
relationship.
Um, when the issue of your extra year came up, honestly, as a teacher, when you teach and you don't get the expected results or expected feedback from the child, you have to change the method and use another method. You can always have so many methods until you're able to get it right. So when your case happened, personally, I I saw myself as a failure, that I have failed in this aspect of parenting. That we were only, each time we ask you about your grades, whatever you tell us is what we believed. We were not really following closely. Same with your younger brother. So when it was Jeff's turn, I had to sit him down because I saw that it was because you guys were afraid. You were afraid of telling us the courses you are having challenges in. So I called Jeff. I sat him down. I said, look, let me know any course that is giving you a headache, that you are not really coping well. The essence of asking is not to scold you, is to assist you. I spoke with him in different forms so that he can be relaxed. He won't be on edge or scared of me. He won't be unnecessarily, and I won't be unnecessarily hysterical that my son must do this. So when I had, each time I try to improve on my relationship with my children. So when he told me, I said, look, we have to face it because it was in, I think it was 100 level course and another 200 level course. I said, you know what? You have to finish them up in 300 level. Let me know the courses. Let me know how we can go about it. So when he now told me the courses, I connected with him. And I think some of the lecturers, maybe you knew them while you were in a fellowship or so, both of you went to the same university.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh-huh. So I discussed it with you and you called, I think you connected with the lecturers and we encouraged him. We told him how to go about it, that he just needed to take those failed courses in his 300 level. And we thank God that he was able to clear all, because I didn't want him to have any extra course in 400 level. Since I know that, he was studying anatomy, he's going to do, there is one practical that they do with, I forgot whether rabbit or something. Then the project will be there. So and it worked well. And we are also working on Reagan now, the last one. Each
Okay.
semester I want to know how he fared, and he will send the results to me or to his dad. We will see it and we'll ask him. We became more.
What's the difference between that? What's the difference between that and you monitoring your child?
That's no monitoring. Then
Okay. No, I intentionally
well,
asked that
well.
because
Let me.
parents. Sorry,
When you say
wait now.
monitoring,
Choose. Wait first.
because I know that you will think that mommy or the
That's no. There is a reason why I asked the question, because there are lots of people watching us, and for some children, when the parent is trying to find out some things, the parent, what I just said now is that parents want the best for their children, but sometimes the way they go about it is always the problem, and the child doesn't like it at all. Now you are discussing what happened between you and each of your children, how you are able to use the failure of one to cope or manage the situation in another so that it will not repeat itself. So
yeah.
how do we now differentiate what you just did or what you are doing and actual monitoring? I remember one time during GC, when I was writing GC, that was back in this thing. The issue again was mathematics. I talked about that in part 6 of Terror Suicide, when suicide becomes a healing unit. The issue then was mathematics. I hated mathematics, and what people were concerned about was that I should join my mates in entering university. I should not stay behind. So for that, his own was just that I must be reading. Whether I can be reading 6 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the evening. He does not care. It's just the child that when he enters the house, he must see that I am reading. So I remember that period. I was staying in the place when it's now Nathaniel's room, and I arranged all those books on the bed. So anytime I just hear his footstep coming, I just open the book, and he will enter. You will see WAEC, this and that, and we will just look around. He will
Ask
say, okay,
questions.
you will not decide. Yes, past question. You just not decide. And as he's going back, the book is closing because I don't tire. So that's why I just added that. How do we differentiate between what you are doing with your child and monitoring?
You see, to some extent, my children could believe me. They could relate with me more than the way they would relate to their father. Because if you don't know some of the issues I, as your mom, had. Each time I will talk with your dad that, look, this boy has really studied today. You know what your dad will say? Mi ò fẹ́ gbọ́. Kó tiẹ̀ kàn lajú kó máa wòwe yẹn báyìí. That I don't want to hear. Let me just come back and see him just looking into the book like this. So I was working on my children. I was working on my husband. I was telling him that you won't get the best of them if you are doing this way. If they have read, believe them that they have read. And as then I think then I was still a primary school teacher then. So I
Okay.
come home early. So I would have seen, sometimes I would have seen the extent of work you have done. He will return home later, much later in the day, and you will still expect the child that has been reading since morning to still have books before him reading. So when I counsel him, sometimes he will not agree. And I can't be, the way we are trained, I can't be challenging him in the presence of my children, because it will hurt him as the head of the home, as the father. You understand? And the children too might see that, thank God we
Yes.
have we have an advocate, somebody that can. So each time we get into the room, I will tell him that, look, this approach will not yield results. He will say, no, 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 I don't want to hear. Let them just be going, let them open the books. You understand? So because the way he was raised, that was also the similar way I was raised anyway, because we are from the same generation. But I chose to have a relationship. I was intentional about it. I don't just want to lose my children to the wild world as a result of being too ambitious or concerned about success. Yes, success will come, but there are ways to go about it. If I say I love you, and every time I flog you, you won't appreciate it as love. See, after leaving secondary school, my mother flogged me and gave me marks on my skin. But I made up my mind that the moment my child is 10 years old, no more flogging. Because I believe that whatever training I've been giving the child, by the time the child gets to 10 years old, you should be able to know when I'm angry. You should be able to know
Yes.
when I'm happy.
Yes.
So, flogging, did you grow up seeing me beating you?
No, I
Each
don't
of
know.
my children,
Now,
no, I
I
can
don't
say
know.
it.
Because
At
okay,
least
okay,
you
okay, not
can
bad
say for
beating,
your
yes.
younger ones.
Not bad. But I
You
can
can say,
remember those times when I'll go and play tire and football. You hear him say, by the time we return, either I don't know who will beat us the most, whether it's you or daddy. But I can't.
no,
The memory is now faint. But
I
not
will
yes,
scold. I
it's
will
not bad
scold, but
beating.
not flogging. Not
But that
flogging.
but daddy used belt. Daddy used belt on us. Daddy use belt on us.
Eh,
And omorogun. You use omorogun.
Omorogun. No,
You use omorogun.
see,
Daddy use belt.
listen,
Yes.
listen. My
To
my
beat you.
parents use my
Uh,
parents use horse whip. Listen, my parents use horse whip on me, and I still have the scar on my body.
okay.
But I chose to use that spatula because it is flat. I know that that one cannot give you any scar. I hated the scar.
That's true.
So
That's
I
true.
chose, I never use belt on you.
No, daddy
And
did.
so I use, you call it omorogun, yes, because that's what we call it in Yoruba. But it's the flat one because it is flat. I have, if you still
Okay.
get to my kitchen, you will see those ones that are flat. And even if I put it on your body, it will not leave, it will not bruise your skin.
Okay, I want us to go on a short break. Now you've been speaking for close to 30 minutes now. I want you to catch a break. We'll go on a short break. We'll be right back. Please
Okay,
don't leave this something. Don't, is it this
thank
dial or
you.
this Facebook or whatever? Just don't leave it, because if you leave it, you miss all this now we've been talking about. I'll be right
Thank
back
you.
very soon.
All right.
I've been called many titles. A wretched boy, a sinner, a little orphan. I have journeyed in circles, like a little piece of nothing in a big ocean, until I discovered the power of love. The Lord of creation adopted me. He gave me a new home for reason to believe. Now I'm the edge of glory. I'm proud to say, oh, I'm proud to say, He never
Okay, welcome back. If you are just joining us for the first time, this is Pagidi. My name is Pagidi, and we've been discussing June conversations with Pagidi expressions. And tonight, most importantly, we've been discussing about parental struggles and parental struggles with raising children who don't believe in them. And I've been discussing with my mom, and I'm sure that if you have been watching or following so far, you've had things to see between the relationship I had with my mom and the relationship I had with my dad. And at the same time, we've been learning few things. Most importantly, the fact that no child should be written off. No child should be written off. And if you see, there is a breakdown of how my mom had experiences with her parents, which she didn't want to repeat the same thing with her children, so that our children will not suffer the same thing she was suffering with her parents. So I want to bring back to the studio my mom, Rachel Disu, as we continue this wonderful conversation so far. So where I stopped was that I was studying that you use Omorogun to beat me,
Yes, please
and you are trying
let
to
me say this.
explain.
Let me say
Okay,
this, that as we raise children, as parents, I cannot tell you that there were no times that we had regrets on some of the methods or some of the ways we we raised our children. But
okay,
any of those things that we saw that were not good, espe- in most of the instances, I'm always the prime mover. We are always open. I'm always open to learning and making adjustments. I read a lot of
okay,
things about teenagers having male children. being the only female in the family. So I would say that there were no instances where we what I can say we
Okay, maybe
had
like went
overdone
overboard. Okay.
overboard, yes. But whenever we realize it in the process of learning, studying, reading, when I see
Yeah.
some things, and at times, as a woman of God, because sometimes I pray, sometimes I cry, honestly, because by the time you guys were becoming adolescents, it was not really easy. And in most cases, your dad will want me to be on the same side with him. As he's scolding, I should also be scolding. And if I discover that that is not the best of approaches, I will just keep quiet to wait for a time that I'll be able to let your dad know that no, this is not okay. But I also have to look for a way of presenting it to him. Otherwise, he will feel that I'm indulging the children. Do you understand?
Okay.
So I'm always
Yes.
the
Yes.
one on the flip side with my children, with my husband, and what is right.
Okay.
So there were
Let's. Yeah.
lots of instances of regret,
No.
but we keep
Okay.
improving on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's look at communication breakdown in the relationship between parents and children. You know, before I continue, one thing I wanted to achieve with this discussion is that I wanted parents to give their side of the story, the side they've suffered, the side they've bled, and literally the side they've died while trying to raise their children, especially children who don't believe in them, children who don't believe in their principles, children who don't believe in their ideas, because these are the difficult situations that it is happening in the world, but people don't have the opportunity of discussing it out. And one of such, we've talked about emotional impact. Now we are looking at communication breakdown. And one thing that we know is that lack of belief from children can result in breakdown in communication. Bible says something that's the one parents always say. No, what's that in Ephesians 6? I don't forget Bible. Reverend Mrs. Help me. Ephesians 6:1. Help me
children
now.
obey children obey your parents in the
Thank
Lord,
you. Don't
for
worry.
this is
Don't worry,
right.
Steph. I remember yes, that is the part parents always look up to or hold on to or paint. Children, they say children obey your parents. But the verse 2, they are always, I don't know how they happen to do it. They are very, very blind to it. Most of our parents, they have eyes, they wear glasses, but they are still blind to verse 2. That do not, how does the Bible say that? Do
Do
not,
not
is it suffer your
provoke
children, but to
your children
provoke
to
your
anger.
children anger. And I expressed that in that's the expression titled "A Dad, Not a Father." I think I will change it to "A Father, Not a Dad," since you have explained the difference between a father and a dad. So now, parents may find it challenging to effectively convey their perspectives, values, or advice to their children. And this breakdown can hinder the parent-child relationship and make it difficult to address important issues or impart guidance. Now, how you are talking about how you are the middle point between yourself and your husband, then yourself and the children. Now, there is another interesting part which you may not talk about, but I want to bring out now so that you can share something about it. You, as a mom, there are several instances where you also suffered things. I talked about parents where they suffered for their children, where they bled for their children, and where they died for their children, not physical death now. Instances where your husband is reprimanding you for how you are not training your child. Your children are bashing you for how I don't know how your husband is talking to them. How were you able to manage that situation? You talked about that. There were even times where you cried. How were you able to manage that situation? Share it with us. There are so many
Okay,
people that
I
are willing to
think
hear something about you on it.
yes. I remember. I think it was 2018, either 2017 or 2018. I went on vacation. So before I came back, Nathaniel stopped going with us to the church. He had joined another denomination. And before I came back, your father was still giving him transport money to go to that church. So when I came, I was shocked when Nathaniel said that he doesn't believe, or I've forgotten how he put it. But the long and short was that he's no longer interested in going to the same church with us. But incidentally, your daddy was waiting that when I return home, I'll be able to whether step into the matter and make Nathaniel to come back to church with us. But I asked your dad that you want to be the good dad and I will be a thatcher or the iron lady. You had already released your son to go to that church. You were already giving him transport fare to and fro. So what will I do now? Then he said, eh, as a mother, you're supposed to put your feet down. I said, but you, as a father, you couldn't put your feet down. Then I asked him that church, does it have a doctrinal bias? Are they teaching something that we do not believe in? Because there was a time we did ministers in service training in my organization in our district then. Your dad was even the chairperson, and he was the one that went to bring that particular pastor to come and address
Okay.
ministers. I said, so they preach the gospel. You were born a Muslim. Thank God now you are a Christian. If he has not chosen to be a pagan, if he has not chosen to be a free thinker, all that matters is for him to live a godly life and to have Christ in his life. And he has Christ already. He's doing well. So that's on one part. Another aspect was when you had this big afro on your head.
Okay, that's me.
Yes. And he
Okay.
wanted me to ask you to go to the salon and have a haircut. So I told him that, look, let this boy be. Maybe because he's a male. A male, if they don't have long hair, they will have short hair because they can't make their hairs the way a female child will do. That if you have a female child and it's already in the university, are we going to condition the child? So in most of these cases, when I try to come into it, I'm always the one at the receiving end. A number of times I cry because then your dad will tell me that ìwọ ló yẹ kó ṣe kíní yìí o, a mother, and he will be telling me that the role of a mother is to train the children to become. There are ways I don't have the direct translation of some of those remarks he gives. That you see, you are supposed to tell this child, as a mother, you are supposed to put your feet down. So I will ask him that, you the father, can't you put your feet down too? What is the template you have for your home? Me, I know what I want. I know how I have planned to raise my children with by the grace of God. How do you want to raise your children? Have you allowed them to know your desires? Have you allowed them to know the things they should run away from, the things they should not? That you have not really spoken to them. Each time you put me in the middle, and if anything goes wrong, it's the person in the middle that will still suffer it. So,
In fact, that
and
okay. Yeah. Continue.
and in fairness to your dad, that was the best way he thought children should be raised. Because maybe when he was growing up, they just give instructions. So there is no room for considering how the child feels about something. Me, if I even send a child errand, I will be concerned about the expressions on his face. And my husband will say
Okay.
that ẹni tó wojú ìyàwó ló mọ̀ bóyá ó ń sunkún. Is the one that is conscious about the countenance of the wife, that knows whether she's crying or not, that I should not bother myself. But I take note of details, every expression. I want to know. I want to know and believe that all is well. I don't want a situation that it will look as if you are just abusing, child abuse. Because there was a time, the passage you quoted, Ephesians 6,
Okay.
when I told my mom wanted to beat my niece, and she said she will use pestle, you know pestle,
Yes.
pestle that is
That.
used in
Yes.
pounding yam,
Yeah.
omodo, that she will use pestle to beat her because she lied against her. And I said, mommy, you can't do that. That the way you all these things, that is not true. That if as a parent I discover that I've done something wrong, I should be able to say I'm sorry. My mom said, ẹ fẹ́ bayé jẹ́, you want to turn the world upside down. You want to tell your child, you don't tell your child that you are sorry. And
Wow.
she will give another proverb in Yoruba that ká má rí kí òbí sọ pé ó de ọwọ́ ọmọ òun lọ́rùn. That a parent should never say that, my child that is in heaven. That it is the child that should, part of reverencing your parents is never to query, is to obey, is to do this even when you are sad. Take it like
Now
that
that
because it's your parents.
that's yeah. Sorry, I wanted to, because that's what will lead us to talking about different values and different views. I had to open up the expression that I read at the beginning of this sessions, just for us to have a flow, especially for those maybe they are just joining now, maybe they didn't join from the beginning. I just wanted to read some portion because you made citations. No, you didn't make citations of it, but my the things I wrote about has expressions in the things you talked about. I said it has become a constant battle for the victim, a court where you are the chief speaker with no room for opposing views. You are the author and finisher of the script, and whoever talks back is a silly child that has bad attitude and lacks training. Your presence instills fear in people, and your absence heralds a joyful sound. Nothing seems pleasant with you. Everyone is to blame but you, and peace confidently takes the high table when you are out. Let me stop it there. So now, looking at different values and beliefs. I, for one, now currently, I think I do say it and I do share it, but I think we should talk about it again. You shared the story of when the second born stopped going to church, but now it's got to a bigger role. Sorry, can you still hear me?
Yeah, it got to a bigger. That was what I had. It got to a bigger. What's happening?
But I'll try to. Okay, yes, I'm back now. So sorry about that.
All
Okay,
right.
you can see me. Yeah, good.
Yes.
So it got to sorry, what was I even talking about, Seth?
You
I've
said
forgotten.
you were talking about Nat and yourself. That it got to a
Okay,
bigger.
yes, thank you. It got to a bigger situation whereby I, as a person, decided that I didn't want to go to church again. And this is you, a Reverend Mrs. Although then you're a pastor, everything is still pastor, but now you're not a Reverend. So then, pastor,
That one is a
your
title. I'm still a pastor.
but they have to put Reverend. If he's like a bishop, they have to put which one is your state. Like, who that humility? I beg, wear your crown by yourself, Charlie. So, dad, a
I'm still
Reverend.
doing pastoral work.
Yes, dad a reverend, mom a pastor. The child says he's not going to church again and is living with the parents. It's not that he's living on his own, it's not that they have his own apartment, he's living in that same house. It is a it is a situation that is not supposed to exist in an African home. I don't know how I managed that situation. I'm not even sure I've had the opportunity to freely talk about it outside my expressions or my Terror Society books. And I think I just mentioned it by the way. I want you to explain your challenge with that situation and the growing situation thereon when your child said he's not interested in, let me use the word worshiping God again.
Well, I can say that I don't really know how I coped, but I know that I kept crying to God. And one of the reasons why I agreed that when you say you will not go to church again, you are, because of your stature, a lot of people look down on you. The church we were posted to
I'm
them.
about to come back soon.
Can you listen?
Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Pagidi. Pagidi. Hello?
I
Hello?
think what
Hello?
okay, yeah,
Can
yeah.
you
Because I
hear
was
me?
about
I've
to
been
on yes. Okay,
yes,
I'm
I've been
just hearing you
asking.
now. Oh sorry. I'm just hearing I couldn't hear. I was only about going on another. Yeah. Sorry about that,
Uh-huh.
our audience. Please. She's back.
I've been on. You are the one that is.
Okay. So yeah, sorry for myself. Sorry for the network for disappearing me away. I am back.
Okay. All right. So it was not an easy thing, but the day I was still encouraging you, I was still persuading you, still letting you know why you should go to church. But the day you told me that you will slap somebody, if there was an elderly person that saw you in the church and felt that he looked at you as if you were a teenager. So it was not saying, I think he smacked you on your back that, is that where you are supposed to sit? Is that where your mates were? And I think there was another one that I don't know what transpired between both of you. But you told me that when you described them and what they did to you said if they should do that to you again, you will slap them because you have told me that you are not going to that church again. I thought deeply. In fact, I was sad. I was really sad during that period. But God gave me solace. I found solace in Christ. I was able to pray about it and agree that you should stay away because I will not want a situation whereby the child of the senior pastor will slap an adult in the church. I mean, I can't contain it. I can't cope with it. Also, you were not outrightly misbehaving. Are you still around?
Yes, I am. I
Pagi?
can hear you. I
Okay.
can hear you.
You yes. Aside the issue of I'm not going to church again, you were not really misbehaving. So I felt that I cannot force Christ down your throat. Salvation should be personal. It should be genuine. It is not salvation of parents that will save a child. How
Okay.
can I help? The best way I can help is to continue to tell God about you. And up till
Okay.
now, I still talk to God about you. And now, myself and your dad, sometimes when it depends on the angle of the aspect we are praying on.
Okay.
Before, I know that God answers prayers and God has heard my prayer over you. Because during the height of that period, when I want to, if there is any issue and I say that let us pray, you say, Mommy, you can pray by yourself. You will not allow me to hold your hand or to pray with you. Later, you allowed me to pray, but you will not allow me to hold hands. Tagidi, you yourself
Okay.
know that now you will allow us to join hands and we'll pray. And I also see you sometimes. You may not know. Sometimes you pray. I see you. So when you said you are not a practicing Christian, God gave me understanding that you don't want to do church things, but you have a place for God in your heart. But you just want to do it in a way that that will that maybe will confuse people. You said, "I'm no more a Christian." One of your expressions.
Okay.
Then there was one.
I've written a
God is
lot. I can't
love.
even remember.
God,
Is
I
it
follow you.
I don't believe in God and Jesus. Man, I've written a lot of expressions
And there was
that have
one.
not even been.
There was one. I didn't know what you wanted to do. You called me on phone. You said if I'm returning, I should help you get a pack of candles. And I was wondering, what does this boy want to do with candles? We don't use candles. And
Okay.
you lit the candle round. And it should still be on the on. If we check, we should still find it in as part of your expressions on Facebook. You sat round, you lit the candle round and you sat in the middle, and it was as if you have divorced God. But God gave me understanding because that was when Timmy said she was no longer interested in your relationship.
Okay.
It should be 2019, 2020.
Yes.
So one should be able to understand people at times when they say things. It's not everything they say that you take on face value. And sometimes when they say some things that is not, that you know that is not okay,
Mm.
what do? You don't flog the person. I can't break your head and stuff Bible there. I remember there is
Okay.
a general overseer's child, not my organization, but a general overseer's child told the mom, when the mom was saying, hey, don't you know you are the child of a pastor? You are just, say, mom, you found Christ by yourself. Allow me to find Christ by myself. Don't
Mm.
don't stuff Christ down my throat.
Mm.
The mom said,
Mm.
because I had to go for counseling. It was when I went for
Wow.
counseling that mommy told me that her first son told her that, mom, allow me to find Christ by myself. Don't force Christ down my throat. She said it was as if she has never had such a thing before. And the thing kept ringing. And that today, she thanked God
Mm.
for that particular child, that the child is now more committed to God. So, what am I saying? I can't force salvation,
Mm.
but what I can do, my contribution, is to be committing you, because I did say, well, I asked of you from God, and God gave you to me. And God did not tell me that you will be that. I don't want to use any negative uh, word. So it is
Okay.
those things that God has told me about you when you were before you were born. Those are the things I keep reminding God about.
Okay.
That your soul must not be lost.
Mm.
And I had assurance. God gave me assurance that your soul is not lost. So the pressure,
Okay.
the normal pressure, the normal thing a pastor will do is to say that if you don't go to my church with me, then leave my house.
That's
You
true.
know, that's the normal thing. I hope you can still hear me.
Yes, I
Can
can
you
hear
hear
you.
me?
I can hear you. I can
But
hear you.
God did not, yes, but God did not allow us to go that route. God gave us that assurance that you are a child of promise and that you will fulfill promise. So ours is just to keep believing God. See, nobody can save anybody except Christ.
Hmm.
Nobody can convict anyone of sin except Christ.
Okay.
When the Spirit of God comes genuinely to someone, it is not because your parents are pastors, then you are a
Okay.
Christian. So God helped us to learn. See, many leaders, many spiritual leaders, is because they have not come out in the open to discuss some of the things that they
Mm-hmm.
experience.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to fold your arms or, okay, if we push you out, who do we know that we have pushed you to? Who do you understand?
Yes.
As is it God that said that we should push you out? Even
Mm-hmm.
the prodigal son in the Bible, the father was hopeful that one day this son will return. And that was why he celebrated when the child returned.
Okay. Now let's look at influence from peers and external factors. Children's
Okay.
beliefs are shaped not only by their parents but also by their friends, their peers.
Yeah.
Um, their friends, their peers, societal influences, and various external factors. In this age right now, what influences children the most is TikTok. If not anything, they'll just put the ring light, and different things like that. So now, parents may find it challenging to compete with these influences, especially if their children are surrounded by conflicting ideas and ideologies. As a parent, how can you what advice, no, not, don't let me say how can you, what advice would you give to this present generation of parents? We now have parents, you're in you're in the generation of the 50s, 60s, 70s. We now have parents that are in their 20s, parents that are 25, parents that are 30, and they have all of these conflicting ideas and ideologies of how they also want to raise their children or how they don't want to raise their children. So what kind of advice would you give to them?
You know that the other time I told you that we had our regrets and we worked on our regrets to
Yes.
move forward. Okay. The way I raised you, that's not the way I raised Reagan. Okay. And
Okay.
today, when I see young parents and they are flogging their children for homework, I intervene and I tell them a better way. That when you attach homework with cane, the child will continually lose interest in homework. Make
Okay.
homework exciting. And you can also attach something pleasurable for that child. That if you are able to complete your homework, I will allow you have access to television for 1 hour or something like that. You have to look for the interest of that child and match it with the actual thing you want that child to do. Not that you are lobbying, not that you are coercing the child, but you have to make it a fun. If there is nothing to interest, then the effort will be in futility. Now, for the age of TikTok, see, I
Okay.
thank God that a lot of people now are letting children, even your generation, even generation of under 20s, to
Okay.
know how they can make money, how they can add value to
Okay.
themselves with the use of telephone. Once you have an Android phone, these are the things you can do it. It's not just about snapping pictures. And some pastors too, they invite young people that are making it, young people that are already succeeding. They invite them to come and address their teenagers and youths on better ways of spending time on phone. You cannot tell them not to spend time on phone, but let them spend it positively. There are some parents up till today, they will still say that, tó bá ti jókòó, ó máa máa tẹ phone, ó máa máa tẹ
Look at
phone,
my telephone. Look at
ó
my
máa máa tẹ
telephone. Look at
phone.
my telephone.
So that the moment the child sits down, he will just be pressing phone, pressing phone. They are pressing phone. There are positive sides and negative sides. So encourage the child to develop interest in the positive side. If you are going to sell something to somebody, if that thing is not exciting, it will not be embraced. Then, as Christians, we continue to pray for our children, because when they have the initiative, when they have the will by themselves to do it, you yourself know that Your reasoning in 2023 cannot be compared to your reasoning in 2019, 2020. You
That's
understand?
right. That's right.
Yes, because now you have lots of added value, and you know that you have lots of responsibility.
Ah.
Why? Why the
Mhm.
laughter? Did I goof? Hello?
No, I just continue. It's interesting.
No, I know.
But thank you.
If
Thank
me
you. I'm
I
grateful.
know, I know because ah, make I no open your yansh for public. Oh.
No, what can happen? The Nyash has already
No,
been open a lot
what
of
I'm
times.
saying, before you just want to confine yourself to the four walls of your room,
Okay. Okay.
even if you have nothing to eat, you don't want to go out because it was still part of the aftermath of the breakfast that you were served. You never wanted anything. You don't even relate with us in the home.
Yes.
You will just lock yourself up. I will deliberately come and knock on your door to know that you are still alive.
Yes.
You understand? So
Yes.
today, there are times, there was a time, I think last year, you challenged me. Maybe you were teasing me, or you challenged me that I know you are thinking that I'm going to get married. I'm not going to get married
Okay.
though, but I will have children. I never argued with you because I never asked you to go and bring a woman. But I know that if you find love, I'm not the one that will be asking you to bring the person. You are the one that will tell me that you have found love.
So
The days of
that's okay, that's true. Okay. Continue. Continue.
yes. So what I'm trying to say is that I know that your expressions are born out of your experiences, both
Okay.
personal, family, academic, and what have you. Even if you see something in the bus, you will post it on your status.
Hmm.
I view your
Yes.
status, but your daddy doesn't view your status.
That's true.
Uh-huh. And it's not everything I see on your status that excites me.
Mhm.
But I know you are a full grown man. I cannot push you. I cannot be too overbearing. We'll quarrel. You'll be sick of it. So instead of me, when I have issues like that, what I do is to pray. And most of the time when I pray, God will give me reason. It's not you that give me reasons. It is when I'm inspired, when his spirit comes to me to let me see things, I will now have understanding. Based on my understanding, I would address it before your dad. When he says that, She Orikwomo, you're serious. Can't you see that that boy is not serious? He's just locking himself in the room. He's not even going out. Sometimes I will say, can't you invite him out? You remember one time that he
Hmm.
said he would take you to eatery.
Till tomorrow.
That
Till tomorrow. Eh,
and me,
but
apart from apart from promise, I
Hmm.
intentionally, sometimes I'll say, let's go out.
Yeah. I'm looking at the time because if I allow you, you're going to have the whole time to speak about different things. And yes, that's
Wow,
also
we
the
are
reason
staying
why.
almost. Wow, I'm just seeing the time now.
Yes.
Ah,
And I know I'm still going to bring you up
10.
another time to to share another lesson. But briefly, very, very briefly, I want us to look at self-doubt in in children this time, not in parents, because parents life no, not lifestyle, parents style of bringing up their children has brought about low self-esteem in the child. You cited instances where I had to lock myself up in the room, maybe because of depression or one thing or the other, but these were because of the kind of things I was seeing in my environment, which is my parents' environment. Now, parents may start doubting their own parenting abilities when their children don't believe in them, and they may question their own choices. You did a lot of times. I mean, so many times you are even saying it open that is it that you failed as a mother, and because of maybe the methods you use in training and all those kind of thing, and you tried to even bring it up now that you acknowledge that there were some mistakes you made, or some mistakes your husband made. I'm saying your husband, my father, anyone made in the
Oh,
raising up
joy.
of children. But yeah, but overall effectiveness of what am I saying? Overall disposition of parents has affected their child's low self-esteem. And this self-doubt can undermine their confidence and can make them harder, and can make things harder for them to navigate their own parenting journey. So what could you say about my confidence, how I was able to grow my confidence? I think it is gradually that I'm now letting people understand the meaning of Pagi. Many times people always say, boys Pagi, the boys Pagi, the other my name. And before, I don't usually talk about it because I alone know the meaning of Pagidi. Pagidi means confidence, and I received that. Although my friends do call me Pagidi, 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 and everything, but I came to it was during that 2015 period that I knew, or I gave the name confidence, or I received the name confidence as the meaning of Pagidi. And that's what has been giving me the confidence to do what I do. But very briefly, please don't use past 2 minutes. What can you say about how I've been able to grow from the person I was to the person I am now?
It's not me, it's God.
Okay.
Because God inspired me, and based on my training as a professional teacher, you don't write off anybody. So you know that I call you my prof.
Yes.
You know that I tell you about I tell you a lot of positive things. I tell you how proud I am to be your mom. I tell you a lot of, whenever you say negative things, I will say no, that is not who I see you to be. Do you understand? So I think parents,
Yes. Yes, I do.
and I don't compare you. I don't make comparison. I don't appraise anyone at your expense. If you have done something wrong, I can tell you that
Okay.
this is what you have done. But it's not because it's not that I'm trying to let you see the good in somebody and the bad in you. No, I always
Okay.
say that all my
Okay.
children are unique
Now,
because your strengths vary.
okay. How about sorry, can you still hear me?
Very well.
Okay. Okay, good. How about the impact on discipline and authority? I think we can try to look at how about the impact on discipline and authority. Because one thing is that a lack of belief in parental authority can make it difficult for parents to establish discipline and set boundaries. In the process of trying to raise your child, trying not to provoke your child, you may have difficulties setting boundaries. Now, we've left the generation of you guys. We are looking at parenting now for our own generation. And children may be challenged or disregard rules, which can lead to power struggles and a breakdown of discipline within the household. Yes. How were you as a mom and being the only girl in the house? How were you able to navigate and transition between having four baby boys and now having four grown up men? You know, there are so many instances where you and I will fought, so many instances where you and Nathaniel has fought, so many instances. I don't know whether you and Jeff
Jeff,
has fought.
Jeff,
Yes,
yes, we did.
and even
And
okay,
Reagan,
and even Reagan. How, as a mom and as the only woman, how were you able to transition between having four teenagers that you can give instructions to and discipline and exert your authority on, and now having four grown-up men?
you see, in the Igbos, they say Osinachi, that is, now God. It is God.
Okay.
And you know that I normally tell people that my children, that I have two generations of children. The first generation, you and Nat are in the first generation. Then Jeff and Reagan are in the second generation. So it's not that I had all of you together at once, but I think, um, like I said before, that I read books. I read
Okay.
things about um, um, coping with male children, coping with teenagers, adolescents, youth, young adults, and all these things. So if I see anything that relates to this aspect, I will either read or listen to such. And when you hear things, it's not everything you pick, but you filter it and you pick the ones that will be appropriate or applicable to you. So
Okay.
it has been God. I can't really lay
Okay.
claim that this is what I did. This is, but I know that I
Uh,
study, I learn more, and I am still learning. I'm still learning.
like what one of the comments I'm seeing from Phil, which he said, the sweetheart of a mom. Your mom is adorable and current. I
I'm
love that
blushing.
comment. I'm going to share other comment before we close. But very, very quickly, very, very,
Okay.
very quickly, I want
Okay.
us to see how we can address some issues. I mean, this is a very, very lengthy discussion, and I'm sure many of our audience have been enjoying themselves. I'm trying to look at how we can peg it to just end it at 2 hours. Now, in addressing
Okay.
these struggles of relationship between parenting and children, it requires lots of patience, like you've pointed
Very
out.
well.
It requires open communication and understanding. And some of the
Yeah.
strategies that I can pick from everything you've said is having open and non-judgmental communication. You
Yeah.
know, your husband was trying to be judgmental in his approach with his children, but you had to come in. Thank God, it is not all children that have the opportunity of the father and mother being alive. So um
Or being together.
will I yes, or him, or being together. So having that open and non-judgmental approach in communicating with your child is very, very important. And another thing that I saw is that you are able to ensure that trust is being built. That's why I asked you
Very
that
well.
question then concerning um, the difference between helping your child pass their stuff and monitoring the child. Because of the
Mm.
trust you've built with your children, you are able to ask questions and they will not see it as problem. So
In
working
fact,
on building
recently,
trust.
sorry to cut you.
Okay?
Sorry to cut
Yeah.
you. Recently, Reagan, when he was in school, he did something. And when I
Okay.
asked him, he said, I don't want to tell you. I said, why don't you want to tell me? He said, because you will be angry. I said, okay, I promise you, I won't be angry, but I need to know. And he told me, and I was not angry, but I only told him the implications. That, I only gave my counsel, but I didn't enforce it on him. But ordinarily,
Okay.
a Yoruba person will say, "Now tell me the truth," and the child will say the truth, and thereafter you say, "Shobo
And
sheko
they will now,
sheni, is that how you are
yes.
supposed to do it? Hey,
Hmm.
you did this." No, I don't. You can bear me out that I don't do that. If I say, "Okay, tell me," and that is why a number of times, a lot of things you tell me, and sometimes you don't tell your dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank
So
you for
trust
that.
is
So,
very important.
yes, another thing that is important in raising children who would believe in you, because we talked about raising children who don't believe in you, and those are where
Yeah,
the issues are coming from. Because if your child believes in you, you are not going to find those issues there. So, and that is recognizing individuality, because you talked about you have 4 children, but you are able to recognize the individuality in each of the child, the strength, the
very good.
weakness, not throwing blames on the weakness, and encouraging the strengths, just like acknowledging that the children have their own unique identities and beliefs, and these identity and belief are separate from the parents. Just like you said that that particular child told the mom that you found Christ for yourself. Allow me find Christ for myself. That don't force Christ down my throat. Another thing, another strategy that I picked from everything you discussed is leading by example, because
Mm,
you became a role model for your children by embodying the values and beliefs that you wish to instill in your children. You were praying to God. You talked about some times where you cried, but you are praying to God. The ones that you could do physically, you were doing it. The ones that you saw that you cannot do physically because of the terrain, because of the environment you are now finding yourself in, and acknowledging that you are now having grown up men, you had to channel it to Baba God in heaven to help
yes,
you this thing.
so
And
yes, so
and there has to be consistency between it showed the consistency between your words and your action. It was not just that you are and trying to show a face of a good mother. It's not that you wanted to show that you're a good mother. You are doing what a mother should do. Then one thing that I want to add, which I didn't pick from here, but I want to add it, is that people should also seek professional help. I remember
very
one
well.
of us, I can't remember who, one of us talked about that even you and your husband have to go for counseling so as to understand yourself better and know how to understand your children better. Because if struggles persist or become overwhelming, it is always encouraging to consider seeking the assistance of a family therapist or counselor
Yes,
who can help facilitate constructive conversations and provide guidance in resolving these conflicts. So, one thing I want us to remember as we round up this conversation is that parenting is a journey. It was intentional, like I said, it was intentional that I had to bring this conversation from the angle of what parents suffer, not the angle of children venting. We know children always have always had the opportunity in the Sorosoke generation. So we always
yes,
talk, we always bash anybody. Anybody will do any go collect. In fact, if Jesus was living in this generation, Jesus said go collect from us. So, but it is also beautiful to bring out the burdens parents also go through in raising children, especially children who don't believe in them. In fact, myself, I thank God for the kind of ideas I have in bringing out all these kind of topics. And challenges are natural part of it. By maintaining open lines communication, fostering understanding, and adapting to changing dynamics, parents can navigate the struggles of raising children who don't believe in them and work towards building stronger relationships based on trust and mutual respect. I so much appreciate the time that you've used in speaking to us thus far. And for every of the audience, like I always say, I've written 5 books, and the fifth is here. Dearest Suicide, Karma is a Bitch. So go to the links that has been sharing on it. Most importantly, seller.co/Dairy Society. If you go to seller.co/Dairy Society, you are going to pick the books. Currently, all books, you can see that there's book one is sold for 6,000 naira, but currently all books are sold for 1,000 naira each. So you can just get any of the books and see the one that is most applicable to you and learn. There are a lot of things I can learn, not just in what you've said, way beyond what you said. I spoke about breakfast in it. I spoke about academic failures, how I suffered, not just how I suffered extra year, how I had 7 carryover courses and how it built to extra year. I spoke about writers who committed suicide. I spoke about footballers who committed suicide. I spoke about men who committed suicide, because one thing is that men have feelings and men have bottled up feelings. It is the bottled up feelings of men that transcend to having fathers who don't know how to communicate to their children. Because if men are able to express themselves, they'll be able to grow into fathers who are also able to express their difficulties to their children. So I will not want to say too much. I know we've enjoyed ourselves so far. The first session we had was sex, orgasm, and adolescence, where we had Jeff and Comfort speak to us. Last week we talked about the complexities of marriage, reasons why this generation don't want to get married. And today we've been discussing so far parental struggles of raising children who don't believe in you. Next week, which is the final week on Sunday, we'll be having the last and final session in the month of June, where we'll be talking about 30 raw truths writers you need to know as a writer. I so much appreciate every one of us for joining each and every one of these sessions so far. Like I said, go to seller.co/Dairy Society to get each and every one of my book for 1,000 naira each. And there's a free copy there. There's a particular edition. If you go to the that is seller.co/M. Let me type that. Let me just quickly type that here so that we can see it. Please just give me a moment to put that on the screen for you. Seller.co. It is .co, not .com, because so that you don't make a mistake. It's not .com, it is .co. Seller.co/M/Pagidi. If you click on it, you will see each and every one of my books, all selling for 1,000 naira each. You can as well get my shirt. Yes, that's it there on the screen. You can as well get the shirts. It is going for 6,000. There are different colors. This ash, there's blue, there's red, there is orange, there's black, there's white. Yes, there's purple too. Thank you very much. So you can get each and every one of these books. And one thing with suicide is that I love the way I wrote about the book Dairy Suicide, because suicide in itself, they always want you to speak about it from an angle of pity, say no to suicide. It is that me, I did not say no to suicide. Yes to suicide. But the interesting thing that if I had committed my own suicide, will I be able to be here to speak about these things with you? No. So there are other beautiful sides about suicide that you would need to see when you get each and every one of these books. So thank you so much again, Mom, for having this with you. It's such a wonderful thing. Yes. And at the same time, too, please, if you want to support me with money, I need money so as to continue doing this thing, just go and you can call me or chat me up or send me DM, and I'm going to send the account number to you. It is not my personal account. Pagide Expressions is a business, and I'm going to give you my business account so that we're going to use it to run most of these things, because we always give our guests money for most of the things they do. So thank you so much for having you here, and have a wonderful night.
And you too.
Bye.
I've been called many titles. A wretched boy, a sinner, a little orphan. I have journeyed in circles like a little piece of nothing in a big ocean. Until I discovered the power of love, the Lord of creation adopted me. He gave me a new home for reason to believe. Now I'm the edge of glory, I'm proud to say